We Lose Pictures, we can confirm that France are through. So after 120 minutes of football, when both nations drew a blank and we ended up with spot kicks to decide who progressed, it was France who make it to the semi-final, where they will take on Spain on Tuesday. Excellent penalties at the end of a dull encounter, but that won't matter to them. They're through and Portugal are out. I don't know. Diddy, do you have any sympathy for Portugal, given what they were involved in there tonight? Because of the two sides, did Portugal try a little bit harder to play than France?
Yeah, they bought possession. Did they deserve to win it in 90 minutes extra time? Probably not. I think the way the game went, it had to be decided on penalties. Obviously, if you lose a penalty shootout, you always got sympathy for them. But then I've got to say, we saw 10 penalties, 9 were scored, 1 hit the post. And I've got to say, it made up for the dire game, or parts of it made up for the dire game, because some of the penalties were just out of this world.
They were, weren't they?
Nuno Mendes and the, Bacola coming for Fana, coming on, taking him on. And even the last one, Fernandes, is a brilliant penalty. Even if Costa goes the right way, he's not going to save it. So, France seem to have the number on many nations and many teams, and it's just very hard to knock them out, because you still have to beat them, even though they're not playing nowhere near their best. But what they can do is defend. They don't give up many goal-scoring opportunities. Then they've got a brilliant goalkeeper in goal. And then what I also liked was the reaction of Mbappe when the penalties went in, how much it meant to him. Because he's won a lot. He's still very young, but he's won a lot. And but I said before extra time, Spain will beat whoever they play against. I'm kind of half taking it back now.
Why?
Because I still think it takes a very good team to be the French side, and to not play at your best or play poorly or badly for the whole tournament and be in the semi-final now, they must be thinking, who's going to beat us?
Yeah, I was just piecing through my second half and extra time notes there to see, had Portugal opportunities to win it. They really didn't. I mean, the better chances came France's way, but some very profligate finishing, as we saw throughout, meant it's been a while now since they've scored from open play. But they're through, Kevin, and I suppose that's what matters to them, and it certainly matters to Deschamps.
Look how happy they are. Like, the players are all dancing there. They look like a happy bunch after that game. They don't look like they're enjoying the playing too much. But afterwards, you wonder sometimes when you see a team like that and they're not playing well, are they, like, behind the scenes, what's going on? But just seeing them there, they look genuinely the way they were dancing to that song in front of their fans and smiling and joking and jumping on each other's backs. They actually do look like a team.
Yeah, and there's Pepe and Ronaldo. Obviously, they've soldiered together in that Portuguese side for a long time.
Particularly, he was brilliant. Yeah. He was really, really good. Was it right near the end of full time or the first half of extra time where he had to do a full-on sprint nearly the length of the pitch, and he managed to keep up and get a last-ditch tackle in. I'd imagine we won't see him again.
No, I'm just wondering, Stephen, if we see Cristiano Ronaldo in a Portugal shirt once again, because he hasn't played well in this tournament, no matter which way you look at it. It looks as though, he's lost another half yard of pace, and his game relied so much on that electric burst that he had and ability. But there were occasions when the ball came to him during various matches throughout this tournament, and he had trouble sorting his feet out. Not the Ronaldo that we've seen in the past. Do you think this could be it for him, or will he try and soldier on through another campaign?
It wouldn't surprise me if he tried to soldier on. Just because if he signed a new contract in Saudi Arabia, he wants to play, maybe he envisages get to the World Cup. I don't know. When you see him in the Portugal jersey again, even if he decides to retire, I think obviously there'd be a send-off game for himself, and Pepe would have thought that they're not going to finish off, they'll have something for them to mark the occasion and what he's done. But it's interesting because I'm looking at the 4 teams in this group, in this side of the half, and you have Germany, you have France, you have Spain, and you kind of think, would he start centrally for any of those teams? I'd probably put my head of Havertz in the centre for Germany at this stage. I know he's not performing, but would I pick him over Havertz? Probably. Would I start him ahead of Morata for Spain? Yes, probably. So you're kind of thinking they're the teams that we said the toughest group, toughest side of the tournament. And it's not me being a fan of Ronaldo. I was just looking at what this side has offered, and this being the tougher side. with those teams, would he get a starting berth? And I'm kind of thinking he possibly would. He's not played particularly well. He's not done anything remotely remarkable in this tournament. But if your chance was to come to him or fall to him, do you think he's capable of putting it away? And I would say, yeah, his conversion rate will still be probably better than most. I know he's had a ridiculous amount of free kicks and stuff.
But it begs the question, why haven't chances come his way? I mean, that's a very poor reflection on the rest of the team.
He actually did have a good chance. He put it over the bar, but there was a clip there in the second half where a ball went down the side and he should have been in on goal and he can't run anymore, Peter. He doesn't have the legs. He's not, when you see him going around the pitch, he just looks stiff and slow. And it's fine being in the box and maybe taking a chance, and that's why he's playing. To be in the box, take a chance, but he didn't take the few that came to him in the tournament. What's that? 4 games? 4 games?
I don't think he gets into these positions anymore. Now the 24 teams, I probably couldn't name you 5 where I would play him, because I don't think he offers anything these days. Now you can say, but if you give him a chance, but how is he ever going to get a chance? Because he doesn't move an awful lot, and he doesn't even get in the positions. And even in the group stages where they played minor or inferior position, even there he didn't get into these positions.
When I look at the better so-called teams, and I look at Spain and I look at Germany, and they create chances, and I think of the players today, like Morata today, for instance, I think Ronaldo would score some of those chances they create for him today. I know he
Stephen, you don't tell me that you would pick him ahead of Havertz. Obviously, you can never go with Havertz for doing whatever. But the thing is, maybe I think he's part of the reason they don't create any chances.
Potentially. But then I look at Bernardo Silva, I think has been terrible in the tournament. I think Bruno
but if you haven't got a centre forward, Stephen, that's the thing. If you haven't got a centre forward, they play most of the time. They play with 10 men because he's not moving. When he's got a chance, he gave the ball away early or late in the game, and then, as Kevin said, in the second half of extra time, where Hernandez just walks past him and takes the ball off him. Now, if you play without a centre forward, and they practically played without a centre forward. It's almost impossible to create a chance because you don't stretch teams. There's no threat. The defenders squeeze up because he said he's not going to run away from us. It makes a pitch small. It makes it hard for him. The only one really who's had any impact in the tournament for them going forward was Rafael Leao. Who's a one-against-one player who's got pace himself. He can take people on himself. Bernardo Silva needs these spaces where he can be creative. But he doesn't even create them, Ronaldo, because he just stands in his static.
I think what it is though, I'm just looking at the tournament and looking at these top nations. I don't think there's been a centre forward for any top nations that has made me think. I don't think Havertz has done it. I think he scored 2 goals earlier in the tournament, but I think in the game today, I think he was terrible. I think Morata, we're watching him, he scored a goal earlier on, but I think he was awful for him. I think Spain were lacking some of them. I'm not saying Ronaldo's the answer, I'm just going...
I would say they have more movement and they can run still, and that's the negative of Ronaldo. But he should have been... He's basically 40 years of age and he played nearly every minute. He played the game where the rest of everyone else in the Georgia game. He still played. I think that's so the manager didn't manage him right either. Now that's probably Ronaldo's fault because he'll throw a hissy fit if he's taken off.
But playing him that last game is madness.
For a forward especially. Sorry for Pepe, he can use his experience and get into positions. For a forward, you need to be electric, you need to be sharp. He should be coming on off the bench to change the game, not starting and playing every minute.
No, once again, Cristiano Ronaldo generates plenty of debate amongst our panel, but he's bowed out with Portugal this evening. It's time for a quick break. We have some analysis when we come back. It's been a pretty painful evening, so we'll promise to keep it fairly brief. Ecstatic at the end of the game, needless to say. They know they're through to a semi-final. But I suppose what's got to be really concerning for Deschamps, Didi, is the standard of finishing. I mean, they did get in positions to score, but the standard of finishing was really, really poor. Yeah, but not often enough as well. And we said it before, I think it's 5 games now where they haven't scored from open play. This is Australia, the keeper. Mbappe was one of the few times where he did have an impact and where he did threaten or look like threatening. But overall, the play was not good. And when they did get in these positions, this is probably the best chance here. Kolumani, I think it's going wide anyway. Yeah. Luis Diaz making the tackle. And it really all changed when Dembele came on, even though his finishing wasn't the best either. But Dembele was the one where you thought whenever he had the ball to create something. This is Camavinga with a finish. It was a tight angle. I think it was not easy to score from. This actually hits a crossbar. It's a good effort from him. But overall, over the 120 minutes, it was just not enough. And Bakole, I think he's struggles here a bit to sort his feet out. A hugely talented player, and
the way Mbappe's been playing, he hasn't helped the team much either. Obviously, he will be playing the next game. I don't think there's too much wrong with him against Spain. But I would like to see Griezmann on the bench, and I would like to see Barcola and Dembele off the bench, because they can play 1 against 1. They've got pace, and I think they can create problems. Carvajal is suspended in the semi-final. So I think that's an area where he needs pace, and I would like to see Dembele and Barcola, and I think the forward play would improve.
Portugal may have a lot of regrets, because with France being so poor in front of goal tonight, the few chances that did come Portugal's way, all it needed was them to take 1 and they'd be into a semi-final, but they failed in front of goal badly too.
Equally as poor with the finishing, Peter. I'm trying to think back in the game. This was the best chance for them. A great run, good ball. It was Fernandes in behind. He has more time than he thinks there, actually, and he pulls the trigger. I think he thinks he's about to get tackled, and he's actually usually a good finisher, so he'd be very disappointed with that. One of the few times they got in on goal. That was Silva, I think. Was it? Ronaldo. This was one here, actually, when you see the replay. We're probably not going to see it, but that was a penalty. Didn't get checked. The keeper came through the back of Ronaldo and 2-footed him. And this one, we're talking about Ronaldo, and he's there to finish chances like that. And he's just not able to anymore. He just looks too stiff and slow. And you will be. We all feel that at about 40. And then that was a poor header at the back stick. Again, right at the end. This was right at the end of the 2 halves of extra time, and it was a poor ball in behind Silva, and it ended up, like the game itself, in a sort of a scrappy, half-hearted attempt on goal.
What was surprising, really, was considering how poor the finishing was tonight. Nobody able to really hit the target or hit it effectively. We had some amazing penalties. We're not going to go through every single one of them, Stephen, I can assure you, but we're going to the important ones, I suppose. And unfortunately for João Felix, he was the villain on the night as far as Portugal were concerned with his missed penalty.
I think Felix, he's not played much of a part in this tournament at all, and he gets on today and goes loads of power. I think Darren, I was talking about how this ended up on almost the halfway line when it comes off the post, but you know, it's a cruel. Penalties are cruel. He steps up. He's brave enough to take one, but doesn't execute well, and that's it. But the standard of penalties and the rest of them were superb. For the lack of finishing we saw in the game, like you're talking penalties, Hernandez, this is the one to win the game, and he steps up as calm as you like and just side foots into the top corner. Even if the keeper goes the right way, he's not getting to that. So yeah, I think the Mendes penalty as well, the left back, he smashed one into the corner as well. Wonderful standard, each one better than the next. Apart from Felix, who is, you know, he's the villain today, and it's tough. That it really is hard to take to the team like you've gone out on that. But did they do enough during the game? Neither side really did. The chances, as Dembele came on, that was the impetus France needed. I think they go at it and they look like they're a bit more directness about them, a bit more of a pace and guile in the forward areas. But Portugal, I think, just lacked some momentum, and Fernandes was poor, Silva was poor, and there was too many players that perform on a weekly basis at the club that didn't turn up, and France were similar, but France are hard to beat. They really are. I don't know what it is. They're almost like, sometimes they're like Real Madrid. Real Madrid just find the way to win, and that's France at the moment.
Yeah,